Welcome to Work from the Inside Out, a podcast that highlights real-life stories, practical strategies, and best practices for transitioning your career from unhappiness and dissatisfaction to fulfillment, meaning, and joy. Now here is your host, career and executive coach, Tammy Gooler Loeb.
Hey everybody. If the career you're building right now doesn't look like the one you originally planned for, you are not behind and you are not alone. Most of us are trying to navigate a working world we were never actually prepared for. So today I want to hand you a compass, because for the next several weeks, that compass is exactly what we're going to use together. Welcome back to Work from the Inside Out. I'm Tammy Gooler Loeb, and today's episode is a little different. It's just me, and it's the kickoff to something I've been wanting to do for a while, a series built entirely around my Be the CEO of Your Career framework. So today, I'm going to do three things. First, walk you through the framework itself, the 5 practices, and how they connect to everything I believe about working from the inside out. Second, give you a preview of the 5 episodes coming this summer, where I'll bring each practice to life through a story from a past podcast guest. And third, I've got some news about what's coming this fall. Let's get into it. So here's the belief underneath everything I do on this show and in my coaching practice. Real career change starts on the inside. Not a new resume template, not a new LinkedIn headline. Clarity about who you are and what you actually want. That's the inside out, in work from the inside out. Tactics matter, but they come second. Be the CEO of your career is the framework I built to put that belief into action. And I want to start with the CEO part because it's not just a catchy title. It's the foundation running underneath every part of this framework and every one of the 5 practices. CEO stands for curiosity, engagement, and ownership. Curiosity is what gets you looking, asking questions instead of assuming you already have the answer. Engagement is what keeps you in it, actually showing up, building relationships, and making the connections that are vital to growing your career, no matter what stage you are at or direction you are going in. And ownership is what makes it yours. Taking full responsibility for your choices and actions rather than waiting for others to steer your direction or make plans for you. Hold on to these 3 words: curiosity, engagement, and ownership, as I walk you through the 5 practices, because you'll hear all of them running through each one. Not 1 per practice, all 3 every time. 5 practices that you cycle in and out of as your interests and needs change. They're not a checklist you complete once and file away. The first practice I often begin with is define your why. This is your compass, getting crystal clear on your values, your vision, what actually matters to you, so career decisions come from clarity instead of panic or pressure. You'll hear from Rashmir Balasubramanian on Define Your Why. Her whole career traces back to a question she asked as a small child. Why am I here? And decades spent learning to actually listen for the answer. Next, we will go to the practice of discovery, actively exploring, connecting with people, gathering insight, expanding what you think is even possible instead of waiting for opportunity to show up. You'll hear from Jason Van Orden on Discovery, a career built one curiosity-driven experiment at a time, from electrical engineering to podcasting to AI. Then, taking everything you've discovered and making sense of it, we go to the practice of synthesize and focus, finding the patterns, cutting the noise, narrowing to what actually resonates. You'll hear from Mira Brancu on Synthesize and Focus, the exact exercise she used to find the overlap between what she's good at, what she loves, and what the world actually needs from her. Clarity turns into action with the next practice, which is map and launch your career strategy. This is a real plan with steps and timelines, launched with confidence because every move is purpose-driven. You'll hear from Susan Barber on Map and Launch, how one piece of hard-to-hear feedback became a concrete plan that changed the trajectory of her career. The remaining practice is reflect and refine, stepping back, assessing how it's going, and making adjustments. You'll hear from Scott Saffon on Reflect and Refine. 40 years in media, and at nearly every turning point, a deliberate pause to ask, is this still working for me? And because careers keep evolving, the practices within the framework may loop back to discovery, or to an updated define of your why, or to a re-synthesis that leads to a revised or totally new focus. So that's the framework, and that's what's coming for the remainder of this summer. 5 practices, 5 stories, 1 summer. But before I let you go, a heads up about something bigger. This September, we hit episode 300 of this podcast. 300 episodes. And I'm using that milestone to kick off a new chapter for the show. Starting with episode 300, Work from the Inside Out moves to a new structure, a mix of interviews with guests who've navigated their own careers from the inside out, and solo episodes like this one, where I bring you my own perspective on the stuff that's genuinely hard to navigate right now. Uncertainty in the job market, the future of work, and what effective leadership actually looks like today. Because most of you want to build a meaningful, satisfying career in a world you didn't sign up for. That takes a different kind of thinking, a reframe, and a bigger toolkit than a lot of us were given. That's what the next chapter of this show is all about. Now, here's your CEO of your career move for this week. Simple. Before the next episode drops, take 5 minutes and ask yourself, of the 5 practices I just walked through, define your why, discovery, synthesize and focus, map and launch, reflect and refine. Which one needs your attention most right now? Not which one sounds nice. Which one, if you're honest, you've been avoiding? Write it down. That's the episode you'll want to listen to most closely. And if you want to make sure you don't miss any of this summer series or the changes coming with episode 300 and beyond, head to tammygoolerloeb.com and sign up for the email list. That's the best way to stay looped in. Thanks for kicking off this summer series with me. Next time, We'll start with Define Your Why and Rashmir's story. Subscribe so you don't miss it. I'll see you then.